Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Scene Talk. I'm your host, Michael Crump. In Scene Talk, we simply take a beloved member of the scene and I ask them 10 questions. Those 10 questions are typically crafted based off of what I know about them before I go into it, and I let them answer completely unedited, unscripted, etc. So, without further ado, I have a guest today that I believe you are familiar with. Control Execute. We'll just start with the very first question. You go way back in the PlayStation scene, and I would think that it's safe to say that you are one of the most well known in the scene. But for those that haven't heard of you, how would you describe yourself, such as a developer, a hacker, enthusiast, and what is your involvement in the scene?
Well, I'm a developer, even though I don't like to be called that. That started this involvement in the PSP scene back when Half-Byte Loader was in active development. Since then, I've moved to the PS3 scene, where I witnessed most of its action via websites such as PS3 Hacks, PSX Plays, and PlayStation Hacks. Then to the PS4 scene, where I started collaborating with Wildcard, Robert, Proxima, who was back then one of the best devs I've met, Flat Z, likewise, and others who later introduced themselves. For example, Javinsky, Joe Golden, which was the creator of the PS4 debug, Socratic Bliss, Chando, Spectre, etc. The most I've been involved in the scene was in the projects for obtaining the PlayStation Syscons, which back then were assigned to all consoles before the PS5 was created, and changed this later in the production of the console. Well, ironically, the PS5 prototype dev kits still have a Syscon, but the later models do not. They only have a TPM. This was for uncovering the keys for the PS3, PSP, PS4, and PS Vita Syscons. I had a lot of money back then. I would buy the necessary parts, ship them to Wildcard, and Robert will provide with the proper documentation for either glitching or CPA or DPA. So together with this, we achieved keys, dumps, code execution on most PS console syscons. The PS5 was, of course, the obvious exception because it had TPM and not syscon. Then I moved to the unbreaking part of the PSP consoles as well as the PS3 consoles. I had a lot of help from Davey. I'm still grateful for him for what he has done with the uncovering of the Kirk keys and the PSP external area syscon keys. Also from Sean, which is another person which developed ways to get the syscon keys. Yoti L. Oliveira, which is a fellow Brazilian friend which found the PSP Go G-Kick method. Cubic is a Russian friend who found a lot of ways to trigger the manufacturing mode on PSP, and many others that I forgot to mention right now. Following that, I have had my share of contributions for software on the PS4. The first backup loader from Shadow, which was a friend of mine, got ran on my retail before Flat Z made his own 4.05 hand, and then that became the rule from there on. So before all of these hand, there was a backup loader from the 1.76 days. Then I made some contributions together with Hito Dama. He was one of the first involved with the PS4 scene. He was a fellow Japanese friend from back then on the 1.76 days. Big Boss, who helped Itodama develop Homebrew for the PS4 and was a Spanish friend of mine as well. FX0 Day, which was a French guy, among others. I can say I've been involved in many things from the PS scenes that I forgot most of them. And of course, I was involved in the drama for Sex to Dex back in the PS3 days from other people, and I can say I'm proud of that. I was also involved in other dramas related with leaking. A lot of people know me as a leaker more than a dev because I trust in people a lot and then I get betrayed and stuff gets leaked. But yeah, I've been mostly involved on all PS scenes.
So, speaking of how long you've been in the scene, what do you feel has changed versus today? Has some of the fun in hacking disappeared with bug bounty programs?
To me, bug bounty programs shouldn't exist because they destroy the joy of keeping a 0 day until the console is prepared to receive one, usually at the end of life. So hackers seem to care most about money nowadays. Then again, I'm not the one to talk since I constantly ask for donations, but we as end users are also very begging people. We constantly ask for more and more, and we don't even consider the work that the dev is putting through. Many times they're unemployed and they are doing it as a hobby. So the least they could do is throw a donation or two to the dev and be more thankful of the work he's putting to them.
Out of all the PlayStation consoles available, what's your favorite and why? And if it's because of an exploit, please talk about it.
Definitely, without a doubt, it has to be the PS3. I love everything about it, the architecture, the design, the ability to run PS3, PS2, PS1 games on it, the ability to run Linux on it, the ability to play videos of all formats and kinds. It has Super Audio CD, it has Synavia DRM bypassed, older models supporting more cards, for example, the SD cards and the cards that the PSP uses, and also being backwards compatible. And of course, the per console security that never got defeated of the cell boot ROM. So that's one of my personal dreams is to dump it, but it will take a lot of time and money until I'm able to do it.
Number four, what project are you currently focused on? Is it something such as Homebrew on the PlayStation 4, etc.?
Right now, I'm trying to get the game Marvel Spider-Man to work on the PS5, the actual PS5 game, but this one with the special debug menu that the second game had introduced in a recent update from Insomniac, which later got pulled on from. This is the a special version of Marvel Spider-Man with the debug menu. So I'm trying to get it to work for everyone to enjoy. I was also trying to get the FTPS5 to work together with the self decryptor from Spectre, but I got quickly demoralized because he said the current project might not work. I'm also planning to restore a S-Flash dump from a friend of mine with a PS5 prototype dev kit. I feel I am partly to blame for him having lost the original ship which contained the dump. So I'm trying to restore it and make his dev kit work. Hopefully it can be resolved soon. For other older consoles such as the PS3, PS4, PS Vita, PSP, I'm trying to help a friend of mine to remarry his PS3 prototype Syscon with the original EID one. It's not married properly yet, as well as dump the DECR 1000 PS3 Blu-ray drive firmware. That's yet another dream of mine. At the moment, I have nothing planned for the PS4. Forget what people tell you about 11.02 and 11.50 being exploitable. They are not. And I did some experiments with Vita related with manufacturing mode, which turned out bad. So Wildcard is trying to unbrick my Vita. It can be unbricked, so I have some faith on it. Last but not least, a friend of mine is trying to get the last remaining PSP AES Kirk keys, including the elusive Kirk Zero AES and SMAC keys, which are used to sign and encrypt the boot ROM on PSP dev kits. So yeah, look forward to that.
Question number 5. Given your background in development, PP Pawn was released and it took the community by storm. What are some of the issues that homebrew developers faced with making sure their applications were compatible with 11.0?
Well, you can say that offsets were an issue. Wink, wink. However, the biggest issue and the elephant in the room was the recently fixed issue of having an incompatible IPv4 on some PS4s, which caused a massive outrage by certain people that were waiting years for the exploit. And then when it came out, got screwed over because it was not possible back then to get past the ASLR defeat stage. This was definitely what halted many possible homebrew devs. When it got fixed, it opened the way to a lot of people to develop their stuff.
Number 6. Speaking about homebrew, what are some of the homebrew apps that you use daily?
I'd say the same ones as Echo mentioned. Definitely Lightning Mod Store and Items Flow, and of course Lapis, PS4, PS5 Explorer, and PS4, PS5 Temperature.
Number 7. If you could only install 3 PlayStation Homebrew apps, what would they be?
Lapis Explorer will be the number one app I would choose. Items Flow would be the second app I would choose. As for number three, I personally enjoy the work Bocanero has done with Package J or Package I. A lot of people think it's just for piracy, but it can use to get a lot of homebrew this way.
Number 8. What's the next for the PlayStation scene? Are we just waiting for another PS4 5 exploit, or do you see the PlayStation 5 getting a lot more attention?
Kiwi Dog is certainly working on it on VNext together with Chendo, Spectre, and Xeno. But it's not an exploit, I think. I think it's more like an all in one homebrew, similar to Mira with plugin support, debugger, FTP, and others. Probably very similar to how Golden looks like nowadays, and Lightning Mods ETA hand looks as well. Although ETA Hand seems to behave a lot better for PS5 test kit than Gold Hand does for PS4 test kit. So hopefully Sistro and others fix the issues it has for the PS4 test kit.
Question number 9. Name your top 3 favorite PlayStation 4 games of all time.
First one on the list has to be Final Fantasy VII Remake with all its DLCs. I'm a die-hard Final Fantasy VII fan, so I enjoy the old game, and this remake is even better. Second one is Gravity Rush 2. I like the adventures of Cat and Raven, and I'm a little bit annoyed that Sony decided to end the online. And finally, for the third game, I would pick Drive Club. And yes, I am the kind of person which hates card games, but this one manages to make it what seems to be to me the best card game ever.
Question number 10. Are there any parting words and where can folks find you on social?
Never give up on your dreams. When there's a will, there's a way. So if you want to find me, I can be found on Twitter at not Secochão, on Telegram at Secochão1, and on Discord, Zecochão hashtag 0254 or simply Zecochão. I also have a channel named Control Execute on YouTube. So this channel is with the C, the big C, between parentheses, and the first X also between the parentheses. So I'm fairly easy to find because I post most of my videos on Twitter. So if you follow my Twitter, you will see my videos.
And that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Michael, out.